Well, good evening, race fans. Great to have you back with us here for round 9 of the Alliance Sim Racing Supercar Championship as always, proudly supported by SolarGuard Saint-Gobain. And tonight we arrive at the Sachsenring. It's a tight flowing and technical absolute roller coaster of a track that is carved into the German hillside. And it's a circuit where rhythm is going to be absolutely everything tonight. It's really the kryptonite of supercars for the first half of this track. Nothing but long sweeping corners, direction changes, and no chance to relax as you try to manage those tyres. And then we get into the traditional back half, of course, where we see the high speeds and hard braking that these drivers will be relying on tonight. My name's Jared Cole. It's great to be back with you once again. If it's your first time here, welcome along, and what a time to be joining us as we approach the closing stages of Season 6 and are getting closer and closer to crowning our champions. We are joined in the booth tonight by the ever-energetic Dean Biggles-Hopton. Dean, great to have you back with us. It's been a little while since you were here with us on ASR, but mate, what a track to be joining us back on us.
Yes, sir. I had to download this track because I've actually never done a race here, as the practice session is going to be wrapping up at the moment, and we'll be moving on to a qualifying session. But it is, it's looking at this track and studying this track and stuff like that. And I've even been in Germany, but I've never been nowhere near this track. It's looks like it's going to be a bit of a tough one, as you said. Would you say it was kryptonite?
Look, I think it's the key. I think it's got to be the kryptonite of supercars. It is. And look, we'll take a hot lap in just a minute with Simon Haynes in the SolarGuard Saint-Gobain car, just to show you how difficult this track is for a supercar. But just looking at it, sure, we've got some amazing straights and some great braking opportunities to get some passing done. But supercar tyres hate extended corners. And essentially the first half of this track, the first half of this 3.6 kilometres tonight, is nothing but corners. I can't think of a worse place to be as a supercar driver, and with a track temp of 33 degrees right now, these guys are going to be praying that comes back down, because if this track does get hot for tonight's race, it is going to be utterly brutal on the tyres.
Yeah, considering those corners that we were talking about, 2 in the green room, so 14 turns in total, but 11 to the left and just 3 to the right. So it's just sweeping around. Of course, it's a very, very slow section. I saw the drivers basically hovering around 3rd and 4th gear there, and that's by themselves generally too during the practice session. It's going to be more interesting when you're in race conditions and you're following the other cars as well too. You might want to go, let's just put the pedal down a little bit more, see if I can get around the outside of it. You find you can scrub speed off. Once again, more punishing on those tires.
It's going to be all about dancing on the absolute edge of control here tonight, and I think it's going to be a very, very interesting one. The race format tonight, 2 races again this evening. We start with a 16-lap sprint to open up, and then we go into race number 2, where we'll take on 38 laps of Sachsenring, 2 compulsory pit stops for the drivers to complete within that time, and a reverse top 5 grid, just to add a little bit more spice to it for this evening. As always, a 60% restriction on the fuel tank size will ensure that the drivers do need to pay careful attention to their fuel strategy as they make those compulsory stops as well. We'll take a look at the championship standings in just a moment, but let's go for a run around Sachsenring here with Simon Haynes in that SolarGuard Saint-Gobain car. And the big uphill to start off the home straight will get us underway. It's a long run, and very, very blind as you come over this crest before you hit turn 1. This is Coca-Cola curve, heavy on the brakes, and this is where the turns start and don't let up. Long right-hander, then a sweeping left-hander downhill through turn 2, and then into turn 3, Castrol Omega, the right-hander that just does not quit. It goes on and on and on and on, and finally uphill and into the left-hand turn 4. Then through Sternquell, turns 5 and 6, a couple more left-handers. And would you believe, as we come back down the hill from the top here, another left-hander, long sweeping left one here. Turn 7 will be just torture on the outside tyres. A bit of a back straight before we do hit turn 8. It's a sharp little kink to the left, and then back uphill. 9 and 10, another couple of left-handers. And the one to watch for is turn 11. Just after we come out of turn 10 here, turn 11 is blind to the right and down over the hill. You can't see where you're going. You've just got to trust that you're going to float out to that left edge, and then big downhill push along the second straight into turn 12. Saxon curve takes us back towards the final corner, and a big sprint as we get ready to go back up the hill. Turn 13, Queckenberg curve, is the last on track. It is going to be a very, very interesting race tonight, Biggles, because these supercars are not going to enjoy this at all, I'm sure.
And it's beautiful. It's actually a very, very impressive track too. If you notice that they've got some large amount of grandstands essentially for a track that's
Great
well
viewing.
known.
Absolutely great viewing.
And yeah, south east of Germany, probably closer up around the Austrian border or stuff like that. So yeah, it's beautiful.
And you can see some of the shots in the background. This track is primarily used for motorbike racing. And you've got a fair few motorbike shops sort of scattered around the outskirts of the track here to support that as well. I know it's one that's pretty popular with a number of the moto series. Supercars, I don't know which sadist decided that this should be part of the season, but it is absolutely going to challenge the drivers here tonight. Let's take a look as we get to about the halfway point of the qualifying session in the background. So we're going to have a grid for you pretty soon, folks. But let's take a look at how the season is standing with just 2 rounds left to go, including this evening. And I tell you what, it's been a pretty full-on 8 weeks of racing so far. Wayne Walker continuing to lead the way on 1,691 points. He looks at this point almost unstoppable, really holding that top spot with absolute confidence, but the pressure immediately behind him is just intensifying further. Dean Logsdale, Matt Vanderkraan and Jason Bentz, the 3 drivers battling for 2 remaining championship podium spots and separated by 6 points with 2 rounds to go. Don't count Mark Poynton out either. He's only 30 points behind Jason Bentz in 5th. And even Jamie Dyke in 6th is only another, 14 points behind Mark Poynton. So, it would only take one bad week out of the next 2 to really upset that order. Don't count out some of the other battles that are going on as well. Luke Ullman and Andrew Rushworth not too far separated. You've also got Damon Fisher and Stephen Vargo only 9 points apart, with Jim Caparonis only a little further back. Joel Lustoval and Ryan Palmer 5 points apart in their little battle for 13th. There's still plenty to play for in terms of bragging rights as we get into the closing stages of this season. But you'd have to think that Wayne Walker is almost a shoo-in at this point to wrap this season up. It's never guaranteed, of course, but with a 130 odd point lead, it's looking very, very unlikely that anyone's going to challenge him at this stage.
We'll have to nickname Wayne Walker the Batman. Wayne the Batman Walker, because he's got it. He's not the Dark Knight, of course, and the accelerated sim racing entrance. As you mentioned too, with those standings, you've got to take into consideration too. There's very capable drivers. There's Andrew Rushworth. He's also won a race, but you've got to put it to Kenneth Latta. He's also won 2 races. The thing is, he's only had 12 starts. So he's also another weapon out there that's got the race potential, got the race wins, just hasn't had enough race starts. Not sure if Kenneth is on the field here tonight, but we'll find out very soon.
Yeah, look, he is floating around at the moment, and to give you an idea of some of the qualifying times that we're seeing, the gap across the top 10 drivers here tonight, 0.88 of a second, so another very, very close set of qualifying results. We'll bring you the grid in just a moment. G'day Simon, g'day Tim, glad to have you in the chat as always. While we've got a moment here, there's a couple of things that I do want to just let everyone know about as we get underway here tonight. And the first of all is a very quick preview of the schedule for next season. If you're a little excited about the opportunity to potentially get involved, this is a preliminary schedule that kicks off 6th of January for Season 7, starting at the Bend, then on to Watkins Glen, Catalunya, and of course Mosport. Mosport, you can never decide how to pronounce that one. In round 4, Silverstone, Sebring, Suzuka, Hungaroring, Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in there as well, and a bit of a mystery round in round 10, which I suspect, just quietly, is probably going to end up being Adelaide, because of course that's been announced for the start of the new season. And could it have been any better time, because on December 16th we have a very, very special event coming your way. Alliance Sim Racing once again putting on a Pink Fins charity event, raising money for a fantastic cancer support organisation. The Adelaide 400 is coming your way, so do not miss that. It's going to be an absolute cracker on a track that, if I'm not mistaken, Biggles, will actually be released on Tuesday morning for us. So it is going to be fresh.
That's like early Christmas.
I could be wrong. It could be the week before, but if I've done my calculations correctly on which week everything falls in, I believe it's releasing that morning, which I will be honest, from a broadcast perspective, is going to really put the pressure on me to get a bit of B-roll together 4-hour background images just ahead of that.
What about the drivers to get some practice?
They'll be
As well
fine.
too, my friend.
They can jump in and they can do 100 laps in a day quite easily, and then
And of
follow
course,
it up with
sponsored
400.
And sponsored by Soliguard, of course. So obviously, it's cancer awareness, and of course, if you do want to prevent yourself from those nasty cancers, so especially skin cancers, well, you get a bit of Soliguard tinting your windows and car, tinting your business, tinting your homes. I mean, we all know how hot it is here in Australia sometimes, especially as we're getting to somewhere. It's practically summer now, isn't it, mate?
It's well and truly summer, mate. I don't know if you went outside today in Brisbane, but my goodness, if we don't get a massive storm roll through tonight after today, I don't know what it's going to take. It was pretty nasty. There's Simon Haynes saying he reckons it should be the week earlier. Look, either way, mate, it's going to be a tight one, isn't it? There's going to be very little time between Adelaide's release and this special event going on. And of course, Simple will be donating its broadcast to cover that one for the night, and hoping that we can raise a bit of money. $718 last year. We'd love to crack $1,000 this year. So we'll see how the support comes together. But I am very, very keen to get that one happening. And it's where we all started here at Simple with Alliance. It all started back in September last year. I think the first Pink Pins charity race that Simple put on alongside ASR, and it's a great thing to be back at it again. We've got a grid ready to take you through, folks, as we get underway for race number 1. Now, you will see a few drivers here with those yellow numbers next to them, Van der Kraan, Dean Logsdale and Jason Bence. We wanted to make it easy tonight for you to keep an eye on them, because those are the 3 that are fighting it out for that 2nd and 3rd place. Wayne Walker and Van der Kraan are on the front row. Dean Logsdale and Mark Point behind them. Then Jamie Dyke and Sean Van der Meulen ahead of Jason Bence and Damon Fisher. Jim Caperonis and Luke Orman sneak on in to the top 10, 0.878 separating those front 5 rows of drivers, and not a lot more behind them either. Phil Manuel and Stephen Varga on row 6. Then Chad Varga and Ken Ladder ahead of Rick Varga and Joel Listerval. James Hardy and Mick Clifton line up ahead of Josh Harris and Ryan Palmer, who have decided to line up together for ADHD on row number 10. Then Andrew Rushworth and David Coleman ahead of Michael Whiting and Jamie McKnight, with Todd Martin and Shane Cudby behind them. Ashley Hall and Andrew Johnston ahead of Craig Rose as the last driver on track. Darren Walden and Brad Hayes not setting time, so they will actually grid up in 30th and 31st. And of course, Tim Nicol, our safety car pilot for this evening. Hoping we won't be called on, but I suspect that the opening race here is going to really show us what to expect from tonight. I suspect, Biggles, we may as well get on down to the grid, because we are very close to getting underway.
As you mentioned as well, too, race 1 will be 16 laps, race 2 will be 38 laps, and will be 2 mandatory pit stops in the feature race coming up. But first of all, we have to get through this race, my friends. They are all lining up on the grid. And yeah, once again, ADHD drivers together, Fishy Motorsports, so a few of those drivers together as well too. But right up front there, Wayne, the Batman Walker.
You're gonna make that stick, aren't you?
Yeah,
you're gonna try.
With,
I don't
Jared
like the chances.
Jetstream Cole going to be calling this one.
I tell you what, these AI nicknames, they will not land. I'm sure of it. Here's my prediction off the line. I reckon we've got to keep a very, very close eye on that 2nd and 3rd row. Jamie Dyke on the inside, you can see him just lined up 3rd back on the right hand side there, the bright green Fishy Motorsports car. If he gets a good launch, he's going to shoot straight up the middle here, I reckon. But there's a couple other drivers to keep an eye on further back as well. The real question is going to be what happens at turn 1. We've actually got a pretty long run from the start line here into turn 1, plenty of time to pick up some pace, and on cold tyres, breaking into turn 1 will be a challenge, to say the least, I'm sure. We've got just a few seconds left here before we do get underway, folks, so I hope you are settled in, strapped in, ready to go racing, because we do have just a few more races to go in this season. This one will potentially make all the difference. Yeah, Tim, Adelaide, where are we going to put the track cuts? I don't know. I think walls are just as scary, if not worse, than off track, honestly, when you come to some of those street circuits. We get the green flag at the back of the field. The big field here tonight, 30 plus cars out there, and we are ready to go racing. The lights come up as the revs rise, and we are underway. And a brilliant start there from everyone at the front end of this field as we make our way down to turn 1 for the very first time. No issues off the start line. But we start to bunch up immediately into turn one. You can see going 3, 4, 5, 6 wide into turn one. Wayne Walker, it looks as though has had an awful run through there. He's dropped all the way back. He's back into 10th after that opening little skirmish, and I'm not quite sure what's happened. He's had a bit of an off track by the look of things, but that has allowed Matt Vanderkraan to get out in front, and Dean Logsdale right on his tail as we head into what will be probably the most difficult section of this track that the drivers face here tonight, as we see the field just starting to get into line already. And have a look at the supercars fly. These guys not wasting any time on these cold tyres. They're going all out straight away. The 280 HD cars straight over the top of the camera. I'll charge them for that one later. Vanderkraan leads out, but no massive gaps starting to open up at this early stage. Keep your eye on Wayne Walker. He's down in 10th, but with only 16 laps, he'll be pushing hard to try and get back up through the field. Sean Vandermeulen's still in it as well, sitting in 6th at the moment. And we've got the field starting to spread out now as they come down the hill for the first time. Picks up a lot of speed on the way down here into this left-hander. And so far, Biggles, we are looking relatively safe, I've got to say. And perhaps I've just unleashed a massive commentator's curse, but everyone settling in pretty nicely as we see that would be, I think, Jamie McKnight looking to make a move up the inside, and that is our first lap done, all really without too much incident.
Could be an overtake from Wayne Walker. He's the one that suffered massively as he went off, but he did manage to get it back onto the track there, of course, dropping 8 positions. Just made that one position up there as he gets past Luke Allman into P9 at the moment, with Kenneth and Vargsy and Chad a little bit further down there. Phil Manuel unfortunately dropped a couple of places as well. But aside from that, most of the other drivers have gained a place or so, or they have stayed stationary in this race on lap 2.
And really, the entirety of the front group here moving up a place is all from Wayne Walker dropping back out of turn one. We might go back and see if we can see just what's happened there, because very unusual to see, and I wonder if there was maybe a little bit of contact. We'll take a look at this. He's on the far outside here into turn one, and just
gone deep on his own,
and ends up in the kitty litter. A very unusual mistake from Wayne Walker, and
he's the Batman.
What a time for it to happen, mate. Early on, it's really cost him. We've got a few cars starting to just stack up here at the back. Joel Osterwald is looking to make a move on David Coleman, and right behind him, his teammate in Jay McKnight, also from Fishy Motorsports. Right in amongst it, he's got James Hardy coming with him. We've got a little bit of a swapperoo going on here as Ryan Palmer makes his way past Phil Manuel. And the minute we look away, of course, James Hardy gives up a spot to Michael Whiting. There's a bit of contact there. Hardy ends up in the dirt. Whiting continues. And thankfully, nothing too much more from that. Now McKnight looks up the inside. He's gone past Joel Osterwald, but they're neck and neck into turn one. McKnight's going to have the better positioning. Osterwald will potentially have the better run, but needs to find a way past. And McKnight closes the door on that move, rejoins his teammate in Coleman, and they proceed on in P20 onwards. A little further back, Todd Martin having a bit of a moment off into the inside of that track as these drivers just try to come to grips with the never-ending corners here. There's contact there, and Martin turns Johnston. Andrew Johnston from Team AJR. Just the congestion that comes there. There's not much of anywhere to go when you're already got the tyres loaded up through these turns, and everyone get himself sorted out. But that could have been far worse.
A couple of teammates could be working together here. They go line of stem, as you can see from the Chrome Racing team. So far, there's battles everywhere. There's battles at the front as well, too, because Dean just set the fastest lap on that last lap. He was putting a bit of pressure there on Matt. He couldn't quite get a run. As you can see, an overtake here, Chad Vergar and Vargsy. Now, Vargsy, you can just see on the outside there is going to tuck in. Maybe the switcheroo can get the power down, but not too much there. You can see a bit of kitty litter kicked up on that corner.
Osterwald's going for it again. He wants his position back. He's looking up the inside of McKnight on the hill climb, and he's got a pretty nice spot there. McKnight's going to have a little bit of an advantage as they make the run up and over the hill towards the finish line. Osterwald's just not quite got the pace. McKnight's going to come all the way out, squeeze him to the outside of turn one. And Osterwald almost losing a spot there to Whiting. Whiting's pushing hard to try and get through there. Osterwald just holds on by the skin of his teeth, nothing in it at all. He's going to have to stay very aware because he's surrounded by fishy cars, and I have no doubt that they're having a chat about where to go from here. You'll see Matt Vanderkraan out in front, still leading this race from Dean Logsdale and Mark Poynton, but not extending that lead. And given no pit stops here, he's going to have to be pushing all the way home. He's so far only managed to pull 5-6 tenths, and it's just been fluctuating up and down as Dean Logsdale goes with him. Logsdale gets a massive run and a mistake there
mistake
from
made from Maddie. Mistake made. Yeah, Dean's going to pounce on that one for sure. He's going to set up the inside there. What can Maddie do to hold off? This is fantastic. You remember, you've got one more corner before you get to start another lap, which will be starting lap 5. Got to keep an eye too on Mark in the background. He's lurking. Remember, these are also, well, these two drivers at the top there, they're all battling for that second and third in the championship with Jamie Jason a little bit further down. Here we go, down the main straightaway.
Did you see the amount of wiggle from Logsdale as he tried to put the power down coming up the hill? That car was anything but straight lining it up the hill. He's absolutely pushing the limits of those rear tyres. Tell you what though, his positioning on that last lap, as we see in the background there, Luke Orman just gets a little bit loose. So he's pulled up and lost a couple of places. But, you know, Logsdale really positioned himself beautifully. And with all of these left-hand corners, you can't afford to find yourself out on the right of these turns, because you're just going to get, you know, taken further and further out there with every single turn. It's going to cost you more and more time. So Vanderkraan, you know, probably makes the better decision to drop in behind a little. He's been very lucky to hold off Mark Poynton at this stage.
And it's bunched everybody up at the moment too, all the way down to P6. So that's your top battle there. As you said, let's go to Logger. I'm going to call him Logger right now. Then Logsdale is now Logger, and he's got the lead of this race there from Maddie. So once again, these two drivers are crucially battling essentially for that second and third in the championship at this point. So looking pretty good. That's the closest battle you see, as well as you got a race control message coming up third. And Instab is wearing 66 and 025 on lap 2.
And that was the contact betwing James Hardy.
They're not going to get disqualified for their planks being too small.
Yeah, that's getting under the skin of a few people this week, isn't it? Oosterwal has given up the spot to Whiting in amongst all of that, so he'll drop back into 23rd, and he's going to have to try and stick with the two fishy cars as they come back up the hill. There's a few different battles going on, but what we're seeing here so far is some classic supercar racing, just long trains of cars. And to prove the point, let's take a look at this one. The battle for 14th, it says on your screen, but that's only because we've limited the number of drivers it shows. Stephen Varga is about a second ahead of Ryan Palmer. Then there's Chad Varga and Luke Orman. So really, I'm going to call this the battle for 11th. And you've got this absolute gaggle of cars built up behind them. Josh Harris is right in the middle of it, and what we might do is just jump on board with him so we get a nice little view of this as we go around the track here at Sachsenring. He's putting the work in here. You can see the concentration on the face.
He's got the belts on too.
It does.
So, look at the way it'll push his shoulders and stuff in.
One of the interesting things here, right, you're not going to see quite as much movement of those belts as what we've often seen when Josh has had them on before, because the number of hard braking zones here really limited. It's super flowy. And have a look at Phil Manuel just ahead as he slid the corner out of the crest there. It's exactly what these guys are going to have to do, is keep it right on the limit. And Harris is doing everything he can to stick with this group while holding off Andrew Rushworth behind. It's going to be a really tough one for all of these drivers to make a move. Something we've seen at a lot of tracks, Biggles, is when you don't have a lot of really hard braking zones, you've got to set up a passing move at the start of the lap to come off, 10 turns later as you get to the end of the lap. That's what these drivers need to be thinking about here at Sachsenring if they do want to try and make some progress through the field.
And more importantly, well, if you go offline too, you just basically scrubbed everything. That's what happened with Matty to lose the lead of this. So yeah, and look how much he struggled. He got basically jumped on by a whole bunch of the other drivers from second downwards, and that's how punishing it is. And of course, he was in the lead. He just made a slight little mistake on that one. It's the rest of it to try to attack. You have to go off that racing line a little bit. That's just really risking it now. These drivers will actually be taking a lot of this into consideration with 10 laps remaining. What can they do to jump a couple of cars in the mandatory 2 pit stops in the feature race coming up?
Well, look at Harris getting all sorts of loose. He saw Andrew Rushworth coming and decided, no, not today. I'm going to put the foot down a little bit harder and just open that gap up. Unfortunately, it's resulted in a bit less traction than he'd probably like. And now Rushworth, only a 10th off the back. He's got an opportunity here potentially, but he does have to keep an eye on David Coleman, who is just hovering there, waiting for an opportunity to get himself up the inside. So this is going to be one of probably the closest battles at the moment. and will continue for a little while yet, I'm sure, as we reach the halfway point of this race. Further forward, though, Jason Bentz, Sean Vandermeulen, and look who's made his way back up there. Wayne Walker now up into 7th, and he's starting to battle it out at the front again.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of like, what if Wayne, didn't make that slight little mistake into turn 1 on the cold tyres? Yeah, I think he'd be pretty up the road at the moment. He's one of the quickest drivers on the track, even in the traffic, and look at the exit he's got currently at the moment too, but nowhere to go, unfortunately. Even here, you think, okay, I'm clearly quicker, but there's no room. It's only about a 12-meter wide track as well too, just fit a couple of these cars at best, these supercars, but you've got to get perfect exit essentially out of the final corner, really, down the main straight line, and then slam on those anchors into turn 1.
Because any mistake really there, Biggles, is
force them into a mistake.
Just so magnified, isn't it? You've got an uphill start to the straight, and then an incredibly long run down to turn 1, and any error on the exit of that final turn is just going to be amplified so many times over because of those two factors. So even though it might only be, maybe a kilometre an hour difference at the exit of the turn, that's going to translate to a significant difference at the other end of the track.
So here we go. What can he do here? He got a good exit. You're right.
Wayne Walker get up there. You can see already Vandermeulen's moving across. He wants to drag him all the way over if he can. Jason Bentz, for his part, just covering that option off as well. And Vandermeulen's done well. He's had a reasonable exit, and really unfortunate that he's not featured more throughout this season due to injury and the like. But good to see him mixing up amongst it again. Have a look at this. Coleman's gone really defensive. Rushworth's all the way around the outside of turn 1, but Coleman beautifully positioned to try and shut the door. The problem he's got is the number of left-handers that lurk ahead, and if Rushworth can stay alongside, that's going to be hard to recover from. Coleman's got himself back in front just in the nick of time, because had Rushworth managed to stay where he was, this is the string of left starts here. Oh, David Coleman's overcooked it a bit. Have a look at the drift. What a bit of car control from David Coleman. Unfortunately, finally, it lets go, and he's around backwards for just a moment. That was going to be the best Tokyo Drift music I can imagine, putting over the top of that short, and unfortunately he really cooked those rears. Well. So he's backwards and now sitting on the apex of the turn. There's still some
more cars coming around. Yeah,
not what he would have hoped for at all. I will say, even though that will be disappointing for David, it's going to make an amazing short with that Tokyo Drift music over the top. Absolutely is.
Yeah, insert the track. I can't wait for the insert it now.
Yeah, why not?
But make sure you get it. Another opportunity for Wayne Walker, maybe to get it on Sean there for that P6 comeback. He's going to send it now. He will. He's committed to it at this point. He can't lift off. He really wants to fight his way back. He's down 5 positions from his pole position, but Sean's fighting this one. He knows that's all about track position around here, and if you can get your nose ahead during these very slow consecutive right-hand corners and then a couple to the left here now, you're still going to, give it up, my friend. Not that easy, and Sean's not making it that easy for the Batman, Wayne Walker.
I'm still not sure where you've pulled Batman from, but we'll figure that out in the break between races, I'm sure. This is brilliant positioning from Vandermeulen, staying on the left-hand side and making sure that he stays right alongside Wayne Walker through those corners. It's going to cost him a little bit, I'm sure, in tyre temps, but what it's allowed him to do is really close the door and make sure that he can stay ahead. And as we get into the last third of this race, this is going to be all important for Vandermeulen. He's got a hell of a battle ahead of him here. David Coleman continues to struggle. He's gone into the pits now, so whether he's perhaps had a bit of damage from a following off track, it's not been his race, that's for sure. Wayne Walker and Sean Vandermeulen continue to battle, and look at the placement from Vandermeulen. This is brilliant. He's not going all the way to the inside to be defensive. I think the smoke there might have actually been from David Coleman. We might.
And Mark got past Matty as well too, further up. But keep an eye on what you want for that battle.
He goes
because definitely, if Wayne has got us centered here at the moment, there's a car that just pulled off completely to the side as well. So just got out of that one.
I think that was Craig Rose just getting lapped there. Yeah. We'll take a look a bit further back in the pack because you've still got this battle going on. Not much has changed here, but they're still fighting it out hard. McKnight, Whiting, Rushworth and Ustaval all still in it for 19th. The positions have gone up and down a little throughout the last couple of laps, but still continuing on. Dean Logsdale out in front, mind you, enjoying the clean air and really, really consistent at the moment. His last lap a bit slower, 25.79 compared to his best of 24.6. really tells you how much these tyres are falling off in such a short space of time.
So, yeah, I don't know how Mark Pointon just must have got the, I think the overtake down into turn 1. Something happened there. Didn't see anything from our Angry Birds Racing, Matty Vanderkran, having a mistake or something. But where was this overtake? They weren't that close. So I'd say
there's the mistake from Vanderkran. Yep.
Yeah, there it is. So it had to be like that because. Yeah, it was in the final corner, wasn't it? Yeah, before
it was.
Turn
we'll go back and have a bit of a wider look at that. So keep going, Vanderkran. I think the kitty litter there just, he's just outbraked himself. A bit of loss of traction with the amount of debris on the track, and that has seen him go very, very wide on the exit. It's cost him a position. He won't be too disappointed sitting in third at the moment. I think that's Craig Rose or Todd Martin, perhaps, just getting out of the way as a lapped car.
Yeah.
But Pointon, Vanderkran, Jamie Dyke, all there. Great news for Dean Logsdale at the moment, because this is really cementing his opportunity to close out one of the podium championship spots. Jason Bent's a little bit further back in 5th, but you can see those 3 orange numbers. Those are the drivers fighting it out for 2nd and 3rd in the championship tonight by our count, and not a lot to separate them here in race 1, that is for sure.
Especially for Logger, because that's his nickname out there, according to Sean MC out there. But so, yeah, Logger will be happy because that just separated him by at least one car, with Mark in the middle of that one. And Jamie Dyke trying to put a little bit of pressure currently at the moment. Maybe it'll even be more of a smile there for Logger because he can get a few more points there. If Jamie Dyke can get past at the moment, Vanderkran for the Angry Birds. I need to insert the Angry Birds music there every time Matty does.
No, we don't want the copyright strikes, mate. Thank you.
Yeah, exactly.
Jamie Dyke is charging at the moment, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, it'll be a late send here on the brakes.
He won't do it here. He's just going to sit in behind Vanderkran. If we know anything about Jamie, it's that he is absolutely capable of being very, very patient when he needs to be. Fuel-saving master, which won't be so relevant this time around, but he's definitely got the ability to just sit in there, and he'll wait for the ideal moment to make his move. And I reckon what you'll probably see is on lap 15, it will be about as late as Jamie wants to leave it. He wants to get out in front with only a lap or a lap and a half to go, and then he'll play defence to hold on to that position and get himself a podium here in race 1. Dean Logsdale still out in front by 1.8, running a brilliant race at the moment. Mark Pointon has separated himself out because, of course, Jamie and Matt here just battling it out for 3rd has allowed him to just creep away out in front. It's been a great start to the racing here, and honestly, a little more going on than I probably expected from this track. I thought the drivers were going to be so much more involved in managing their tyres, but no one pulling any punches here tonight. And I suppose it is round 9 after all. Why wouldn't you throw everything at it?
Oh, wait for a feature race coming on, my friend, as well, too.
That's going to be a whole other thing, isn't it?
Yeah. It's the Alliance Sim Racing, so these drivers do know each other, do know the track that well. How much do they practice it on top of it as well, too, being essentially a MotoGP track.
Look at that move from Ken Latta. Beautiful over-under. Sorry, Biggles, but that was brilliant from Ken Latta. Jim Caparonis probably ran it a little wide and was a little off the pace, but Ken started on the outside, moved back across to the inside on the exit of the turn, and made it look like an absolute dream. Up into 9th he goes, and that'll mean some more points for him in his championship run.
Yeah, absolutely superb. And you know how difficult it is to overtake around here, so you've really got to find your mark and then do it right, because otherwise you're punished if you don't. Drivers are very aware. They're like silent predators here at the moment. They're ready to pounce when they can, and of course if you do pounce and you expose yourself to your prey, and then they're going to be aware, and they just like a deer, they just scatter off, and then it's like, oh, it's too late to come catch them again. So
Speaking of exposing yourself, Sean Van Meulen. Now, I'm not entirely certain on the YouTube the YouTube rules around appropriate attire for a broadcast, but you know, if there's any question about whether or not Van der Meulen is sweating in that cockpit, let me tell you, he is absolutely feeling the heat here tonight. Sean Van der Meulen, obviously listening to us when we said it was a bit unusual to see him with a singlet on last week, he is back in fine form and working that wheel so hard as he makes his way back up and over the hill on the penultimate lap now. sitting in 7th, a really, really good run for him, actually.
At least he's got his gloves on. He's got something on, right?
I mean, you've got to have some fireproof protection, mate. It's important in the event of a crash. Have a look at this. Finally,
it's good to see the drivers. Here we go.
Michael Whiting going up the inside of his teammate Jay McKnight here, and Rushworth looking to follow. They almost come together on the exit, just a little bit of a wiggle, and they've ended up on far sides of the track, neither of them wanting to risk anything. And this is an opportunity for Rushworth to just poke his nose in the middle. He's thinking about it. He's not going to go for it, but he's on the inside. That's going to make it really, really difficult here for Whiting to stay in touch, as we see Todd Martin run off the track just up ahead, and just stay out of the way as this group comes hurtling on down the hill. Probably not a bad time just to stay off the track. McKnight, Whiting, Rushworth and Oosterwal with daylight back from there, essentially. Look, David Coleman has tacked onto the back here, but he's a lap down after that earlier incident. This battle, though, it's continued all night here for 20th or thereabouts. Now 19th, I think, with David having dropped all the way back down. But plenty going on. Stephen Varga under all sorts of pressure from Rick Varga now. Chad got through a little earlier. Rick is now thinking about doing the same as we see the final lap start. Dean Logsdale out in front, 2.3 seconds the lead, and making it look easy. But have a look at the battle for second now. Poynton, Vanderkraan and Dyke. This is going to be all the way to the end. Wayne Walker in the background has a massive look up the inside of Jason Bentz. Doesn't send it, but that is a warning shot if ever I've seen one. The final lap is going to bring the pressure for Bentz, and Wayne Walker has it all to do here to get ahead and pick up that 5th spot. He wants to be on pole. He needs that spot for the second race.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. You called it perfectly there, Jared. We great minds think alike. He's thinking that this P5 essentially equals pole. Again, he had that pole, remember, for this race. He's fought his way back up there. He dropped back as far as, I think, 9 positions down. So it could be a late send. What's he got to risk, of course? Well, you're going to be starting a lot further back there. But at the moment, you're either starting 6th or 1st in the next race. What can the Batman, Wayne Walker, do? He's probably going to murder me for that one later.
Mate, you know what, honestly, stop trying to make fetch happen. It's not going to happen. Dean Logsdale well out in front at 2.5 seconds ahead. He's very comfortably got this one in the bag. Now the question will be, Mark Poynton, you've got to think, has got second place wrapped up there. Will third be Vanderkraan or Jamie Dyke as we start to make our way around to the finish line now? And Dean Logsdale will come up and over the hill, and in the end, a very comfortable win. Mark Poynton home in second, and Jamie Dyke just can't quite get there. Comes across the line behind Matt Vanderkraan. Jason Bentz holds off a fast finishing Wayne Walker as the rest of the field starts to make their way across. Damon Fisher, Ken Latter and Jim Caparonis, followed by Luke Orman, and then quite a gap back to Ryan Palmer as he comes across the line now. Gives the flash of the lights. He's happy with 12th. Feels like he's had a good run. His teammate Josh Harris coming across in 17th, just ahead of Mick Clifton. And then this group we were watching for so long, in the end, looks pretty easy. Michael Whiting brings home 19th spot with Rushworth and Oosterwal. Jamie McKnight has at some point fallen way off the back of that one. So not quite sure what's happened there. But it's certainly not what he would have had in mind, I'm sure. Shane Cudby, Ashley Hall, Andrew Johnston and Darren Walden still out on track as they come around to finish their laps now. We see Cudby come across the line. Ashley Hall not too far behind him. Andrew Johnston's going to come out of that final turn in just a moment and come across the finish line. There he is. And Darren Walden having a bit of a race to forget, but will come home still in at 28th. So it could have been worse for him, all things considered. A very, very late black flag there for Craig Rose. That's an interesting one. I'm not sure if that's for not clearing a late slowdown.
Yeah. Well, remember, he had a lot of off-track excursions to avoid the front runners coming through, so you got to give Craig... you should know about that one, Jared.
Yeah, I'm very familiar with, with going off track, mate.
Sorry, but you know. Yeah, but he's just avoiding, of course, a lot of lap cars there, and he's still bringing it home. That's the more important thing. But they said, great drive, Logger, and go Logger. Logger got it done, the Dean of Deans.
Takes the win. 9.5 Sim Sport entry out in front and very comfortably home in first place ahead of Mark Poynton and Matt Vanderkraan, then Jamie Dyke and Jason Bentz. So you can see the three drivers there battling out for third place. That's really going to cement a bit more of an opportunity for Dean Logsdale. Matt Vanderkraan in the middle, Jason Bentz in fifth. Those three are basically going to swap now. Logsdale's going to go down to fifth. Bentz is going to come up to first. Matt Vanderkraan is going to stay right in third for the second race. Wayne Walker look, credit to him, fought his way back through and ends up in 6th place. He's feeling pretty comfortable, doesn't need to push too much harder than that. Sean Vandermeulen had a great drive, comes home in 7th ahead of Damon Fisher and Ken Latta. Then Jim Caparonis rounds out your top 10 with Luke Orman and Ryan Palmer just missing out, although in Ryan's case, probably a bit more than just missing out on the top 10, with a host of names beyond that as well. Massive first race. We've got a second race right around the corner. G'day, Cade. Good to have you in the chat, mate. Always a pleasure to see you dropping on in. Hope you're well. We have a quick break to take, folks, and then we'll be right back to have a bit of a chat just ahead of race 2. Don't go anywhere unless it's to refill your drink, and come on back. We'll be with you shortly.
Providing the best for your family means a healthy, secure, and comfortable environment. But the daily risks your family faces are often invisible. Solar Guard performance films protect what matters most to you. While you're concentrating on the task at hand, we're protecting your family from uncomfortable solar heat, harmful UV light, and glare. Our window films and protective coatings are designed with decades of technical expertise and provide a vision towards the future. Solar Guard provides added protection to the places where they're needed most, creating invisible barriers for increased security. The people of Solar Guard design carbon-negative solutions that can help reduce energy costs and improve comfort. Allow us to tackle the invisible challenges so you can focus on the important things in life. What matters most to you? We're on it. Saint-Gobain, Solar Guard.
Well, welcome on back, folks. I hope you've taken the opportunity to get yourself a refill, because as soon as we get into race 2 here, I don't think you're going to want to look away. Again, a reminder of the results here from race 1. Logsdale, Point, Vanderkraan, Dyke and Bentz, your top 5, as we get set to go racing for race number 2 in just a couple of minutes. And Biggles, I tell you what, as an opening race, certainly more eventful than I probably anticipated here at Sachsenring. It wasn't a track that I was expecting to throw up so many close races. I really thought it was going to be just a race of attrition, really. The big factor at the moment, and we'll see how this looks when we do get to the actual race conditions. But right now in the warm-up session, that track temp down to 19 degrees. That's going to be a massive relief to these drivers who are trying to keep these tyres intact for 38 laps just ahead of us.
I got my lederhosen on, so I'm already ready here. You know, I've been to München and Munich a few times there, and chinged a couple of steins and stuff like that to sing in some German folk songs and stuff like that in the radar. It was absolutely a surprising, exciting first sprint race essentially as well too. So, and there is lots of overtaking. You proved it as well too with that fight back that we saw from what I'm coining as the Batman, Wayne Walker, because he probably did the most amount of overtakes to get himself so close, essentially putting himself in pole for this reverse 5 grid.
But not quite there in the end.
Absolutely essential. You saw 2 mistakes that are made too with Maddie as well too, just going offline a little bit there and getting punished. That's going to show something. These drivers at the moment, you would have to imagine, they're Jared, the Jetstream Cole. These drivers will probably be studying really quickly some of the tape on what just happened in the first race while they're in this warm-up session, and then quickly seeing, okay, what's my strategy going to be? The overcut, the undercut, we've got 2 mandatory pit stops in this one. Don't think there's going to be a problem with weather out there. It could be potentially a safety car as well, or 2 that might come out there and throw a spanner in the mix. But on top of that, they might be quickly looking at where those overtaken opportunities in that first heat race have been, and what they could do about it coming to this feature race now.
Yeah, and it'll be an interesting one. I'm kind of inclined to think if we got through race 1 without a safety car, we might get lucky here, and that's probably the advantage of this track. There's heaps of runoff. The track temp immediately back up to 32 degrees. Now, that says to me that either that's recording the temp from the drivers putting a bit of lap time in there, or there is some very distinct weather that has happened between the warm-up session and our race feature here tonight. Let's take a look at the grid, though, for race number 2. Jason Benson, Jamie Dyke on the front row. Matt Vanderkraan and Mark Point behind them. Dean Logsdale goes to 5th with the reversed top 5. Then Wayne Walker will start alongside him on row 3. Sean Vandermeulen and Damon Fisher ahead of Ken Latta and Jim Caperonis. Luke Allman and Ryan Palmer behind them, with Chad Vigar and Stephen Varga lining up alongside each other. Rick Vigar and Phil Manuel on row number 8. Josh Harris and Mick Clifton line up ahead of Michael Whiting and Andrew Rushworth, who round out your top 20. Joel Lustaval and Jay McKnight ahead of James Hardy and Brad Hayes. Then Shane Cudby and Ashley Hall line up alongside each other. Andrew Johnston and Darren Walden on row 14. David Coleman and Todd Martin make up your 30 drivers tonight, with Craig Rose in 31st. And we are just about to get underway. Let's go down to the track because it is just
Green's
about
out.
that time. Green out. How's that for timing? We're straight into it tonight. A brilliant launch immediately. And we've got issues at the back. That's Darren Walden and Ashley Hall coming together as we head down to turn 1. A big dive up the inside from one of the ADHD cars. And it looks as though we're going to survive it, but only just. Everyone really keen to make a massive start here in race 2. We've got contact. That's Jim Caperonis. And now it looks like Andrew Rushworth sliding sideways as well. Josh Harris gets caught up behind him. We've got Todd Martin off the back of the pack there. This has been already a far more eventful start to this race as the rest of the field tries to get themselves into some sort of running order. But this is going to introduce some really significant gaps in there. Shane Cudby has already got a black flag. I don't know how that's possible unless he's picked up a huge number of incident points from contact in amongst all that, because we haven't seen race control make a call just yet. That would be very, very quick if that's happened. Mark Point and Jamie Dyke going at it with Matt Vanderkraan alongside Point in the background. You can see these guys trying to battle it out so early on. Ryan Palmer's right up there in the mix. So too more of the Team AJR cars. Damon Fisher, Luke Allman, Stephen Vargas behind them.
Oh, pretty wide, almost into the corner as well too. You got Dean, you got Logger, and then Matty and Wayne Walker has managed to get his way past these drivers as well too. And this is absolutely fantastic racing. They realise the early days it's going to be track position. We've got somebody peeling into pit lane. That's Sean
Vandermeulen going in early.
So, bit of contact down the main straight as well too. A bit of argy-bargy at the moment. Matty's still trying to park his car in the right position. He's got Kenneth and Ryan Palmer behind him.
Ken Latter's sideways and off the track.
Racing early days. Somebody's off.
Yeah, Ken Latter just getting it a little bit overhooked there, and he comes back on the track alongside, looks like Mick Clifton. So he'll be just off the back of this pack as well. Have a look at the gaps out in front already. Jason Benson, Jamie Dyke have survived the chaos. Wayne Walker, we're looking at right now, is in 4th. Vanderkraan and Logsdale now behind him, and then a bit of a gap back to Ryan Palmer at the head of this long train of cars. Take a look at this as they come down the hill. Palmer, Fisher, Varga, Allman, all right there in it. And we take a look a bit further back. The track just continues to be teeming with V8 supercars. Joel Lustaval now looking for a move on Chad Vigar. He's right on the tail back here in 15th. This pack runs from Ryan Palmer in 7th all the way back to, I would have to say, Andrew Rushworth in 22nd is probably the very tail end of it. Have a look at that timing tower. I've never seen that much yellow and orange gathered up like this, even at such an early stage of the race.
And not to mention, we got a couple of drivers there of Darren and Ashley Hall. Looked like they couldn't even get off the line there, unfortunately. A bit of a spinneroo that happened. And unfortunately, that put a lot of those drivers not even across that line there. But we do have Logger, our race 1 winner, heading into pit lane very early at the moment. So we'll keep an eye on that. We got Chad Vigar heading in there. Phil, we've had a few other drivers head down to pit road to chip out. So no, not even any repairs. I'd say it's a 42nd stationary pit stop for those drivers. So that's the situation at the moment. Getting those that first mandatory pit stop over and done with.
And a couple of these drivers...
Only lap 3, 36 to go.
You'd have to think these guys are thinking pretty heavily about the undercut here. They want to get back out of the pits into clean air and not be caught up in this train of cars. And that's going to give them an opportunity to really have a run at it. The front end of this field looking very, very quick still. As the gaps start to open up just a little bit. Matt Vanderkraan has fallen off the back of that group and is struggling to get back onto it. And then, of course, Ryan Palmer a little further back as well, kind of heads up more or less this group that we're watching. You can see him just off the top of your screen now. But we are right in the middle of this pack. Luke Allman and Michael Whiting absolutely hassling Stephen Varga at the moment, putting all the pressure on. And here comes Orman, has a big look on the right-hand side as they come over the crest and down the hill. He's going to look to the inside as well, but have a look at Mick Whiting now, also having a look on the inside of that turn, not quite close enough to make the move, but these guys throwing absolutely everything at it at such an early stage of this race. This is only lap 3, folks. We're not even 10% of the way there, and these guys racing like it's into the final 2 laps.
Exactly, and up the front there, Jamie Doak trying to put a lot of pressure there, and Jason Bentz there for the lead potentially, but he's trying to throw everything at it. Bentz is just blocking him at the moment for the XCM Cross Continental Motorsport entrance. Look at it, just parking the car in the right position. Jamie Doak knows, okay, it seems a bit fishy to me, but he knows hook, line and sinker, he can get the job done. But where can he get the job done? Jason's parking that car in all the right places.
Yeah, and Jamie Dyke, look, at the moment he's staying pretty calm about it, but he's certainly pressuring. He's not just sitting back. He's making Bentz really work to hold on to this position, but at the same time, Dyke not throwing any silly moves at this stage. He knows it's a long race. There's still plenty of time to go. You see a black flag in the background for Jamie McKnight down in 16th.
Got to cut it through that.
Yeah,
Shut the door.
This is a really tricky section to try and get it past. You're already loading these tyres up so much that there's just nothing left to give when you see a mistake ahead of you like that. And you can see Dyke's just holding the inside a little bit longer. Drive-through penalty there for car 27, Jay McKnight. That's for that earlier contact with 666, which was, of course, James Hardy. So
here we go. Bentz on the inside. I mean, Dyke on the outside.
Jason Bentz all the way out there. Have a look at
the somebody peels off in the background. That's Wayne Walker peeling off.
The track has so much debris there from someone just dragging it across from that right-hand kitty litter, and you see these cars just start to step the rear out. Big contact there as Jamie Dyke shoves his way through, and Jason Bentz gives him a big old tap on the door just to remind him that he's got to leave a little bit of room for both of them. Mark Poyton and Matt Vanderkran behind, quite happy to just go along with it for the moment and let these two battle it out. You can see Bentz already putting pressure on a big hit into the rear end of Jamie Dyke as they fight for position. Bentz finds himself a little bit off the line. He's well outside.
He's going to go off track. He's going to go off track. He's going to be in big trouble here. Yep.
Just pulls it back in, but that's going to cost him so much speed. Poynton just goes straight through.
Jason now, from leading this race, has dropped back to P3 at the moment as Mark got through, and Jamie. Now he's got to keep Matty behind him at the moment, but he's got back onto the tail there of Jason Bentz, of Mark. So that's the situation currently at the moment. Well, those other drivers have dropped out of that one early to take that pit stop. So we'll keep an eye on them later on to see how it pans out. Loggy, Wayne Walker, Sean, and if he's like Jim, Chad, Phil, all of those drivers will take a pit road. So we'll see how that pans out a little bit later on what that strategy is. I hope everybody are enjoying. 16 or so at least on the Alliance Sim Racing, and also simultaneously broadcasted on the Simple Racing Broadcast Network at the same time. Looks like one of the drivers of Matty's peeling the pit road.
Contact there, and that sends Orman way off to the left. He's going to pull up in the pit entry after that contact, and not wanting to go into the pits by looking, he's going to get it rolling. Does he take the opportunity while he's there? And may as well. So he'll go in. Yeah, you've got to. I mean, you're already halfway there. It's going to be more effort to get back out. His teammate Andrew Johnson flies past and continues to try and catch the front group. These pit stops have really broken up a lot of the tight racing that we've seen over these first 5 laps. You can see already some of the big names into the pits. Matt Vanderkran going through right now. Dean Logsdale in 20th. Keep an eye on him though, because he pitted very, very early, and it'll be interesting to see where he actually comes out here.
Past them all,
that undercut is so strong in these cars. And have a look at just the gap at the moment.
He's so lucky to mix all that squabbling that's going on, because you got Sean that came out. Matty's come out just behind Sean. You got Chad Rose that's in the mix there. Wayne's managed to clear them as well too. Craig Rose, I mean, because he hasn't gone into pit road yet. That's going to be frustrating some of these drivers. He doesn't have to yield that one up at the moment because he's got the track position on there. But in the inside contact up the road, there it is. So that's a little bit of Craig Rose goes around. Yeah, Sean was trying to get past him pretty quickly at the moment. Craig Rose gets turned, not by, that's another racing incident that Stuart's going to look at. What's interesting as well, too, that I was going to mention, but I've actually completely forgot it, so we'll keep moving.
It'll come back to you, mate. It always does. I can't
remember what I'm going to say.
Tell you what, when there's this much action going on, it's hard to keep track of what you want to look at. Vanderkran and Vandermeulen, I mean, that's going to be a mouthful for a start, but these guys have really fallen off the back of Logsdale and Walker on the exit of those pits, and obviously Craig Rose getting in amongst it has caused a massive issue for them. They've got some work to do. Here we've got Martin and Johnston side by side into turn 1, and it looks as though Martin's going to have the absolute best of that. Johnston just cannot keep up for the moment. At the front end of this field, though, and bearing in mind, of course, the field order is going to get all sorts of mixed up as the pit stops start to happen. 2 compulsory stops in this 38-lap race. Jamie Dyke, Mark Poynton and Jason Bentz. Right now, they just want to be making the absolute most of it while they can. They're kind of getting to the point of these tyres starting to drop off on them, and so the pace will probably fall away a little bit for them here. As it stands, they've already dropped about a second off their best time across the first 7 laps. So it gives you an idea of just how quickly these tyres are just succumbing to the constant pressure of being loaded up
pushing
through
that kid a little
so
as
much
well
of
too.
this.
If you drop back down to P6 and P7 as well too, Kenneth Latta. Remember I was telling you about him?
Have a look
Not
at
so
this
much
group.
up in the standings there. Yeah, because Kenneth has a couple of race wins under his belt there. He's trying to hold off Fargsy, Michael and Mick in the background as well too. And that's a big pack there. That's a battle for 6 and so forth down there. But as I said, Kenneth Latta, you got to keep an eye on him because he's got a couple of race wins up his belt. He just hasn't had enough races to really significantly be up the top of the challenge for that 2nd and 3rd spot where you see some of those other drivers that are highlighted in the orange.
Yeah, plenty going on, but Jason Bentz looking to make the most of his time out in the nice clean air out in the front. This group here absolutely locked in. Have a look at it as they make their way up the hill. Fastest lap for Wayne Walker, so he's out there on relatively fresh tyres and wants to push on very, very hard if he can. A 124.45. That is a full, 4/10 quicker than the fastest lap for Jamie Dyke out in front, and that's got to be a bit of a warning sign. In the background, we see David Coleman looking in the rear view now at Joel Ostervale and Mick Clifton, who have gone a bit wide and gotten a bit loose there. Jason Bentz picks up a slowdown, so he's had a bit of a moment, and it's cost him not just some position, but also the time that he's got to now burn off with that slowdown as we come back down the hill. This group virtually unchanged at the moment, but David Coleman getting a nice little run through and a better start to his race number 2 than he previously had. Ryan Palmer under some pressure from Damon Fisher for P4. He's got to start thinking about a bit of strategy as well. Stephen Vargas had a big moment. He's coming into the pits, so he's going to peel off here, and this group will be reduced by 1. Make that 2 as Joel Ostervale pulls into the pits behind, and that's going to leave Mick Clifton all on his own. You know, it's not far, it's only a second, but it can feel like a lifetime when you're outside of the very little slipstream that is available for these drivers.
See if we clear some of those other drivers that took a pit stop earlier as well too, aka Logger.
Here
Wayne
he comes,
Walker,
Dean Logsdale, Wayne Walker, and have a look at Wayne Walker. He is pushing on and right on Dean Logsdale's tail as they come across that start line. Walker's going to the inside. He's going to send it under brakes here into turn 1. Logsdale's just going to let it happen. He'll sit out wide and tack on to the back. Now that's a smart move. Just don't contest it too hard. Walker's obviously got a lot of pace at the moment, and Logsdale's tyres are just a couple of laps older. It doesn't sound like a lot, but with these supercar tyres, it can make all the difference at this critical, 7-8 lap mark, as we see. It looks like Ashley Hall just getting it a little bit
Jamie
sideways.
Dyke gets a penalty.
Yeah,
Jamie
5
Dyke,
second
the race control message.
5-second penalty for Jamie Dyke for the incident between himself and that was who's car number 100?
So
I want to say Jason Bentz.
Yeah, so that means Jason Bentz. Mark goes in from P2 currently at the moment. Jamie Dyke will have to serve that penalty at some point, won't he? So he's going to have to give up that race lead. Whether it'll help out Jason Bentz. Well, Jason Bentz now goes into P2 because Mark Poynton and Mick Clifton have gone into pit road there. So that's going to be very interesting. Remember, there's 2 pit stops that these drivers have to do during the race. Some of these drivers are knocking out their first pit stop. We still have tons of racing to go, 29 laps.
Let's go back and take a look at this this incident that Jamie Dyke has picked up a penalty for. Comes up the inside of Bentz, and this is into turn 1. And big shove really on the way through. Look, I don't know.
Hasn't it? Yeah.
I don't know. It's such a fine line sometimes between, a bit of bump and rub being part of the norm for supercars and something being effectively using
they look at
another
it-
car as brakes.
Well, they look at it from not just that, but we show maybe one little moment, as you can see another little moment happening at the moment back here with Vargsy and Chad. But there may have been a few more of the largy budgy moments that aren't shown necessarily in the highlights that they
100%.
picked up on from race control. So you never know. You never know what the situation is. But they obviously, race control is the principal, and the principal says, yes, that's the situation. And you're just seeing the nice little battle between Jason and Damon Fisher.
Ryan Palmer, actually,
Pit
and
lane
Damon
for,
Fisher.
Palmer's in anyway, so he's okay. I've had enough of that one. I'll see how I can change it up here for the ADHD racing entry.
Mick Whiting has just received a drive-through as well, so there's obviously a message about to arrive from race control, I'm sure, to just give us some insight on that. But he'll be going to serve a drive-through as well. Damon Fisher all on his own out here, and further down the field, Ladder, Whiting, and Coleman, of course. Michael Whiting now carrying a black flag, so we'll wait to see just what the rationale has been there. When we take a look though at the cars that have, there you go, incident between car 35 and car 25 on lap number 5.
Is Whiting, you're right.
So yeah,
Get
Whiting,
the drive-through there.
Whiting
So
gets the drive-through for the contact
hasn't been
with
in
Luke
yet.
Orman.
So if he has to serve a drive-through, they can't touch the car, can they? Or he has to sit there
Correct,
stationary.
he's just got to
How's
drive
that
through.
pan out?
This is the moment. So Orman gets an almighty nudge from behind, and this is the one we saw live. Sends him to the pit entry. So not surprised to see that one being penalised, and will unfortunately mean that Mick Whiting's going to drop a fair way back down through the field. His teammate David Coleman right there to pick up the fishing mantle though at the front end of the field, as Wayne Walker continues to lead on track the cars that have made their pit stops. So obviously a fair bit yet to play out, but when we take a look at the laps that these drivers have pitted on,
Yeah, look at this. Teammates at the moment too. You got team
Johnston and Hayes
JR.
right there.
I mean, they got to do something together at the moment because they may
Box him
be
in,
under
box him
massive
in.
pressure there. Well, they got the Batman behind him there, Wayne Walker, of course, as I mentioned. He's charging at a rapid pace. He's actually split both of them, so he's got through. As Michael does go down a pit road and serve that penalty, so that's the situation. Keep an eye on Wayne. Wayne went in on lap 4, so he's taken one of his mandatory pit stops, and he's now up in P9. If he can get past Brad.
And looks like he's going to get that done relatively comfortably on the way back down the hill, although
no, he
big
won't.
moment from
No,
Brad
he
Hayes
won't.
just gets it a little
Shut
bit.
the door.
Look, I don't know it was so much intentionally shutting the door as it was getting a little bit loose on some of
He
the
went
marbles
wide.
there.
We'll
And
lose that one now, I think. Yeah.
yeah, you can see there he's really struggling to keep that car under control.
You got
at the
Logger
moment.
wants this too. Remember, well, Logger's already taken a pit stop, so he doesn't want to held up too long. Doesn't want to let Wayne get too far up the road. This is potentially, we're looking at later on in this race, a battle for the lead. Remember, some of these drivers have done those pit
absolutely
stops, so
spot on.
he can get his way past Brad, and Brad has to lift off a little bit and low him through there. Keep an eye on Michael as well too. He's come into the mix. He hasn't taken a pit stop yet, but
No, he's had his drive-through, but he's going to have to come back for a pit stop at some stage as well.
in the mix as well.
So
Where he wanted to be,
Logsdale
wasn't it?
and Walker now start to just pull away from that group behind them. Mark Point and Matt Vanderkraan not too far off the back. These guys are battling it out for what we will effectively call third position, given they've both been through the pits as well. Poynton has only just gone through a few laps ago,
Mark's got a good exit. Yep, he should send up the inside here at the moment there on Matty.
and that's those fresh
He'll
tyres
have
coming into
the
play.
track position.
Makes it look
Absolutely,
easy.
there it is.
Vanderkraan just has to tuck in behind now and hope that he can hold on the run up the hill. So far, he's doing a pretty reasonable job of it, but he's not going to have the move there, and Poynton covers the inside just in case Vanderkraan decides to brake pretty late there. They're both going to just tuck in behind Andrew Johnston from Team AJR right now, who himself needs to come in and serve a pit stop at some point. Sean Vandermeulen, you might have noticed a little while ago, folks, did pick up a drive-through penalty for an earlier contact as well. So there's been quite a few this race compared to what we've seen in race 1. It was virtually penalty-free through race 1 and crash-free through race 1. Race 2, a whole different story as these drivers are putting it all on the line in the very early stages. We're not even at the halfway point yet, Biggles.
Dress rehearsals are over, my friend. There it is, sent at the inside. Because Mark knows he can't be held up too much, as well too as Matty Vanderkraan. He knows he can't get held up. They know that these drivers at the moment of Andrew has to come down to pit road some of these points. Guess what? Speaking of coming down to pit road, we got a stack of cars coming down there. Dyke, Bentz, Fisher, Ladder, and DC all down into pit road. In fact, you're going to go Andrew as well too. So busy down there. I wish we had Ted Kravis down there. Give us a little bit of feedback. No,
And you'd have to think that's just the planned run of it, right? 14 laps in, that's roughly a third of the way home. It's a little bit over, but there's a big moment there. That's Brad Hayes. I don't know that he was necessarily intending to head for the pits there, but it's certainly where his car wanted to go, and so he's just gone with it and let it happen, essentially. Sean Van der Meulen comes out of the pits just behind them by the look of things, so he'll be back in sixth, but he still has a drive-through to
Sean
serve.
got a penalty.
So he's done his mandatory pit stop there. He's going to have to come through again, and he'll probably do that next lap, you'd think, because if he doesn't clear that within 3, then that will be a disqualification for him tonight. I only hope, and we've seen this so many times, Biggles, I only hope he's aware that he's got that black flag and he's actually seen it on his UI, because I would hate to see him disqualified for not serving it.
If you got spotters out there, let him know. Get on the horn. Oi, Sean, you got to slow down and you got to serve it.
We had a similar conversation last week, actually, where we were trying to decide whether, I believe it was Jamie Dyke who was carrying a black flag almost all the way for the full 3 laps to serve it.
That's right.
And he did update us afterward that he was staying out there intentionally to try and create some space. I think it was for Ken Ladder, if memory serves, by just being a bit of a roadblock for a couple of laps before he came in to serve it. And Sean Van der Meulen, not really anywhere near a position to help any of his teammates, so it's in his best interest to really get in and serve that one very, very soon if he can.
Well, you never know if remember, we still a potential safety car to come out as well too, so it could certainly flip things upside down. You're still halfway through this race, essentially on lap 15. We've still got 24 to go, so you got Sean's gone in to serve it now.
Ashley Hall pulling it up. I don't know. I know he's just stopped it to let all the traffic through. There you go. I was a little worried that maybe he's blowing the motor or something like that, but looks like it's okay. I tell you what, there's been a lot to look at, and that is a drive-through penalty for Ryan Palmer, who's just come in. So I think he's come in to serve that one pretty much immediately. He wants that cleared and off his plate, I reckon. That surely won't be him coming in for his second stop. And it does look like he's just going to roll straight through the pits and come back out somewhere down around 22nd or 23rd, perhaps. As he comes
his team's
through.
waving at him, going, "Hey, I want to put tyres on." Hey, and he's going, I can't. You're not allowed to touch the car, mate. Not allowed to touch the car. Not for a drive-through penalty.
They're just going to roll straight past that pit bay and back out the other side. Jason Bentz now sitting in 7th at the moment. Probably not where he was hoping to be at this stage. I tell you what, someone who is very, very happy about how it's played out so far. Dean Logsdale taking the gamble on that undercut on lap 2, and it has served him really, really well. Wayne Walker has absolutely found his pace here in race number 2. It wasn't there in race 1 after that turn 1 issue for him on lap 1, but he's making amends for it here, out to almost 2.5 seconds over Dean Logsdale, who is pretty comfortably sitting in 2nd, and he'll be looking at the likes of Matt Vanderkroon and Jason Bentz and knowing that he just needs to hold them off a little bit longer. Bentz now alongside Damon Fisher. He's on the outside. He's going to widen this turn up, and he's going to try and be later on the brakes. It looks like he's going to get there. Fisher pulls out of that one very, very early, and probably not the worst case scenario for either of those drivers, that's for sure.
He might be happy tucking behind him as Sean Van der Meulen's gone down and serving his pit stop actually in the moment from P16. So we'll get that one over and done with. I think he's already done a pit stop, so that's
his drive-through. Yeah, he's actually he's come in. Hang on, he's coming to the. Oh, now that's going to be a problem.
No,
he's actually pulled into the pits. He's gone into the pit, which won't clear that black flag. Now,
I think the black flag was cleared before he went in, if I'm not mistaken.
It gets cleared when you drive in there, but it shouldn't do, because it should only clear when you actually come through, unless, of course, he's been issued a some kind of stop and hold as well, but it doesn't look that way. That's very interesting.
Moment for Top Martin as well. He had to go off to avoid a ton of the cars. So I think it was Michael Whiting going through there, Andrew Rushmore.
So Manuel having
a bit of a switch through. Dean's in.
Challenge back here as well.
Logger.
So he's going for that second stop. He's going for the big undercut here.
Yes.
That's what he wants to try and pull on Wayne Walker. He knows he can't catch him at the moment. So Logsdale is committing and also setting himself up for a nice little extra position or two if a safety car does make its way out here sometime soon. Might be the strategy.
Enough gas
You never know. Oh yeah, look, easily.
With these limited fuel tanks?
20 laps, even with a 60% fuel tank, that's no problem at all. These guys will be absolutely fine. He'll be pretty close, I would say, to about half this race distance would be maybe what we'd expect for the lap around here. And look, I'm going to take a big old
if
guess
Wayne's
at
going to
it,
respond here, we're going to keep on those lap times because remember they were pretty close as well too. Logger and Wayne Walker, okay, Wayne the Batman Walker.
You're determined, aren't you?
They were very, very close. Now he's got a bit of traffic to navigate through for Wayne, which he has. So obviously he's going to. I'm going to see whether or not he's going to be interested in going. He's got track position at the moment too, so he's got clean air. He can put back laps in. As watching a fantastic battle at the moment down into P15th, as you can see on your screen.
And Dean Logsdale, he'll be happy having the clean air out in front of him. The only thing that's going to bother him at the moment is if Andrew Rushworth decides to spend anything a bit unusual here. Logsdale just wants to establish himself and focus on the road ahead. Rushworth, for his part, wants to go with him. But I think Logsdale will probably have the pace to start to open this gap up. He's going to want that pressure off his rear bar. He's quite happy to let Rushworth and Whiting fight it out here for 16th because Logger's eyes are firmly on the prize at the end of the night, and he's going to be watching with great interest the lap times for Wayne Walker. 125.3 on the last one.
Yeah.
Let's see what Logsdale can do fresh out of the pits.
Yeah, he cleared the other two cars behind him as well too. So let's see. He's going to cross the line at the moment. He needs to be in that 24 club, and what does he get? Well, that's the
outlap. There you go.
Of course. So
he was really slow on the in-lap.
Outlap.
Must have been, or just really unfortunate positioning as we see Rushworth and Whiting both making an error into turn one. That's cost them both some time and really separated them out a bit as well. So not ideal for either of them. Jason Bentz continues to have Fisher in the rear view, although not at a particularly threatening distance. He is going to have to just keep an eye on him and just try and manage these tyres as we make our way around Sachsenring. Down the hill they go. It's a very, very interesting track layout. From what I hear, it is absolutely terrifying on a motorbike to have to lean it over and send yourself over that blind crest. And it's something that's on my bucket list, I reckon. Go and give that a shot. Sounds like fun.
Yeah, just gas it, close your eyes.
Well, it's not about closing your eyes. You probably still want to aim for the track, you know? But, it does look pretty menacing. I don't think any of the camera angles...
Hit the autopilot button and see if it takes you over the moment.
I don't think any of the camera angles we've got really do it justice. And
no further
we might
action.
try and...
Car 16 and car 016 as well.
There you go. So just a few more getting sorted out. Might jump on board with Wayne Walker because he's kind of on his way there. And let's jump into the car. This will give us a really, really good view of this right-hand kink. So he's got to come through just these couple left-handers, and just around the corner is the right-hand crest we're talking about. Look at this. You come around this corner and it's blind. It's a crest. You know the track's there somewhere, but you've just got to hope there's not a car stopped sideways the other side of it. I really don't think that even does it justice from inside the car. It is a massive drop-off. You do yourselves a favour, folks. Not right now, because you're busy watching this race and enjoying it, but do yourselves a favour at some point. Go have a look at photos of that hill from the actual track. It is much like a lot of the topography around Mount Panorama. It's just not... It doesn't do it justice on a TV camera as to just how steep that actually is. Joel Osterwald now starting to close in on Stephen Varga. Both of these guys have only made their first pit stop. They both did it at about the same time, so their tyres relatively equally fresh, but Osterwald absolutely finding some pace there, just nudging ever so slightly closer to the rear bar of that Quantum Racing car.
Logger shaved, he's now down to 24.72. So he shaved half a second out of Wayne's lap in that last lap. He's going to cross the line at the moment there, Logger. So I'm going to keep an eye on what he did for that last lap. Last lap was a 25.21 for Wayne. Logger crossing the line now. It's a 24.82. So he's close up, hovering around that half a second lap quicker. Now he is 41 seconds down the road from Wayne Walker, who still has to take another pit stop. So this is going to be pretty close if Dean continues to shave half a second lap there of Wayne Walker, and Wayne Walker still has to come down pit road.
The problem is going to be, though, of course, once Wayne gets into the pits, he's going to have fresh tyres on. And when you look at their best lap times, I mean, really, Dean Logsdale has just set what should be his fastest lap times on those fresh tyres. We know they're only good for the first 2, maybe 3 laps, and then your times will start to die off. And he hasn't actually improved on his best time of 24.7. Wayne Walker, in this race, his best is a 24.45. So on top pace, he's 0.3 quicker than Logsdale, and Wayne's still got some fresh tyres ahead of him. That's going to be really problematic. The pit lane time here, somewhere around about 45 seconds end to end.
The gap to lead at the moment is 40 seconds.
Yeah, the gap for Dean Logsdale is pretty well bang on 40. So he's not going to undercut Wayne Walker at this point. He's got to pray for something. I don't know what it's going to be, but he's got to pray for something to make life difficult for Walker at this stage.
That's what it's going to be. Keeping an eye on that one. That's the strategy part of the race. That's why you love it here at Alliance Sim Racing, how they do that 2 mandatory pit stops, just to flip it around a little bit and make these drivers concentrate on what's going to happen. So, speaking of concentration, SpongeBob, Ryan Palmer, concentrating at the moment.
Honestly,
in P19.
Ryan's been taking his racing so seriously this year, and he has honestly, for all the shtick I give him, he's honestly come so far in his driving, but I still can't take him seriously when I see the onboard of his race suit and that bloody SpongeBob helmet. Like, how do you take this guy seriously behind the wheel, no matter how quick he is? It's
you look down that little picture, the concentration that he's got in his head there. That's what he's behind the helmet. Live
something
here.
Else, isn't it? Something else.
Yeah.
As he looks to reel in Todd Martin just a few tenths up the road. This is that part of the race where everyone has just a bit of clean air around them. And this is where it can be really dangerous for a driver. They start to relax a little bit. They're not thinking about how much this field is going to bunch all the way up at the outcome of some of these pit stops. So a big moment there for Phil Manuel as he swings way across the inside of the track. Luke Allman's going to go up the inside. They'll be alongside to the braking zone, but Allman's had a fantastic run. Manuel just costing himself a couple of tenths with that very loose exit from the final turn. And Allman goes on through. We were watching on board a little earlier, but got interrupted, so we might check back in with Luke as he...
Oh, what a racing ring.
He's got himself pretty nicely set up there, doesn't he? It's not a bad look, that's for sure.
Triple screen, it looks like. It's got the full seat, got the racing
full screen above it as
no
well.
doubt, it's got all loaded in. Oh yeah, that's just to see.
Well
say smile. Hi mum, I'm on TV.
Don't know if he's watching the broadcast at the same time. What do you reckon? Take his eye off the road. Just
some drivers do. You wouldn't be surprised because it gives you an indication. It's like the Formula 1 drivers look up at those monitors on the side of the tracks, right, to see what's the other racing action is happening. So you'd be surprised if he doesn't have it up there too, mate.
No, that seems like a lot to concentrate on as Palmer makes his move and goes on past Todd Martin. And we're about to see potentially the same here. Dean Logsdale on Mick Clifton flies around the outside over the crest and down that long hill. And Logsdale goes through into 14th. Mick Clifton left in the dust. Matt Vanderkraan into the pits for his second stop. So this will be one to watch. Dean Logsdale, let's see where he comes out. He's on his way up the hill. Vanderkraan's in his pit bay. He's got about 10 seconds till we'll see him out the other side. I reckon Logsdale is going to be well and truly past him by that point. Keep your eye on the pit wall in the background. Nothing in it.
Yep.
Nothing in it at all. There's daylight between Logsdale and
that's
Vanderkraan
another
now.
20. Last lap 25.65. That's a little slower than Wayne the Batman Walker. So
You've got to stop trying to make the Batman stick, Biggles. It's just not going to stick.
Yeah. It's not going to stick. No, it won't. But I'm sorry about that one, Jetstream, Jared.
Matt Vanderkraan out of the pits. He's looking to get some temp into those tyres as quickly as he can. He's going to be a little frustrated to come out behind Rushworth here because that's going to really limit him if he can't get past very quickly. He doesn't want to waste these beautiful, sticky, I want to say Pirellis, but they're probably not. They're, in any case, they are brand
Zeros.
new. And he is currently wasting them a little bit by being stuck behind a bit of traffic here. Andrew Rushworth yet to come in for his second stop, and Vanderkran's going to need to do something here if he doesn't want to throw away the advantage of the fresh tyres.
Greg Rose has gone around as well as Mark Pointon is headed down into pit road. Greg Rose has crashed exactly as mentioned there up on the information. He's back on track, but so it should not hold up too much. So I don't see too much damage on his car, so he's going. But a few more pit stops as well. So Bug's in, Luke Orman's in, and Phil Manuel is in.
Had some interesting little moments there. I was just wondering if we were about to see a safety car call, because we did see a little bit of movement in the pits of about safety car pilots, but I think it might have just been Brad Grant switching places with Tim Nicol in the ready 5 seat there, just waiting in case he does get called out. Vanderkran gets through Rushworth, as we see a few pit stops there out the back. Steve Varga, Luke Orman and Phil Manuel all on their way out of the pits, more or less together at the moment. Wayne Walker is in P1.
Wayne's in.
So this will be the watch point. What are we looking for? Dean Logsdale, there he is in 8th. Oh, you can't see it happening. The gap was 41 and a half or so when Walker came in. They're going to be close.
I think he's got him.
I predict that Logsdale's going to come out about a second and a half behind Wayne Walker here still when Walker does come
Wayne's
back
still
out.
up on the jacks. We'll get you information on that one. He's coming out now. He's coming out now. So where is Logger?
Just to the back of the
you're right on that
entry.
one. Wayne should come out. Log is coming down the back stretch now.
Even with a bit of extra pace, give it a second to stabilise as Walker comes out. But it's actually going to be even more than that. Wayne Walker's retained almost a 6-second lead. That's almost entirely insurmountable for Dean Logsdale at this point. What he's got his eye on at the moment is Matt Vanderkran, 2 spaces further back, and again from the second and third step of the championship battle. That's great news for Dean Logsdale that he's still in a really, really strong position as we get into what is just under 15 laps to go. It's a bit more.
But you said he has the tyres now, doesn't he? So he's got to chase down.
This is the thing, right? Dean's tyres, they're done. He's made that change on lap 16 for his second stop. This is you're going to see here, and I'll almost guarantee it. Wayne Walker's about to set a fastest lap on his, first hot lap.
He's got in-time traffic of DC, not even DC. He's got to get past lap car at the moment, Josh Harris. So he does. Can hold him up a little bit.
Right, look, he won't set any records on the outlap, but watch for his second one. I think we'll see a new fastest lap. That's what I'd expect at this point with those tyres on. Ken Latta, for his part, just a bit further back in battle at the moment with Todd Martin from Quantum Racing. Ryan Palmer just up the road is doing everything he can to track down Damon Fisher, and you saw him a big wiggle over the crest. Here comes Latta up the inside, makes it look easy in the end. He's going to come out of this very comfortably ahead of Todd Martin and with eyes on the back end of Ryan Palmer, which sounds a lot more intimidating than I think it was intended to. But anyhow, Ryan Palmer will be just watching his mirrors and waiting for Ken Latta to catch up. The 2 Team AJR cars riding side by side at the moment, Johnston and Orman, just trying to decide who's going to be first to go after Vargs in the end. Johnston coming in for his pit stop, so it'll be left to Luke Orman to carry on that battle with Stephen Varga. Rick Vigar is right there behind them as well, as Brad Hayes goes around a bit further back. We'll take a look at that in just a second. But Ken Latta right on Ryan Palmer's tail. He's wasting no time at all. Jamie Dyke comes into the pits. He is, 25 odd seconds rather. 30 seconds ahead of Wayne Walker. That's not going to be enough for him to keep up there, although...
Jason comes in from the lead.
Jamie Dyke on that pit entry, I think, has been done for speeding on the pit entry. He's picked up a black flag. That'll be probably a stop and hold. And unfortunately for Jamie, that's 2 weeks in a row where an unforced error has seen him land with a black flag. Last week at Red Bull Ring, it was dipping those left-hand tyres just over the control line, the exit line. At the pit exit there, as we see Palmer squeezing Latta all the way to the inside of that curve. He doesn't want to make that pass easy at all, but in the end Ken Latta just charges on through. Jamie Dyke is not having a good run at all, and this stop and hold will be about 40 seconds for that speeding on entry. We'll see if we can.
Top 10.
Oh, that's gonna be it for him. Yeah. Let's see if we can get a bit of a shot of this, if possible, as he comes into the pit lane. Poor old Jamie Dyke.
Wayne just took essentially at the moment.
Oh, that was a very fast. Well, look at the lockup as he tried to get it down to speed. He will be ropeable. Jason Benz has just picked up a black flag as well. What have we missed there while we were looking at that?
One thing I'm seeing from the software.
I wonder if that's just I think that might have just been the off tracks. Yeah.
I was going to say, there was a lot of drivers. That's why you see that kitty litter kicked up as DC comes in from the race lead.
Into the pits, haven't
they? So because of that, remember, multiple amount of times you get that, eventually iRacing will give you a drive-through. So that's something that will start kicking into play. Some of these drivers might be nursing very close boundaries to their off-track excursions at the 7 drive-through.
If we take a look at what we've got recorded in our list, I think that's a long way off accurate, quite honestly, because there's really not a bunch of off-tracks that we've picked up on our software for most of these drivers, with the exception of Craig Rose, who at 20 times.
But there's kitty litter kicked up everywhere, as you saw, so somebody's going off there.
Yeah, look, I don't know who it is based on our list, but there's definitely people going off track on a very, very regular basis, because that kitty litter does not seem to be getting cleared here tonight, as we see a big group starting to come back together on the other side of those second pit stops. Sean Vandermeulen out in front of it, but he's leading Stephen Varga, Luke Allman, Rick Viger, and Jason Bentz now in 13th position after serving that drive-through. That is going to make a massive dent on his podium step hopes in the championship, because he is a long way down from Logsdale and Vanderkruijs sitting in 2nd and 4th respectively. That's going to really, really hurt Jason Bentz's title fight.
So it's calm before the storm, essentially with 10 laps to go in our main feature race tonight. That's where the hot zone is. You can carry up the senior pitches. That's from P9, 10, 11, and 12, and 13th actually with Bentz, who's down 12 places for the 100, but I remember he had a penalty to serve as well too, so I believe he had the penalty, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he's just served that drive-through, so he's dropped back out here in 13th, and look, it doesn't look good for him, because he's got 4 cars ahead of him that are going to be very, very difficult to make a pass on while they're all battling with each other as well. This is one of those tracks where if you do get into these pack battles, it can be really, really tough to set up your own moves, because everyone's moving around the track so much to battle the next person ahead. And you see Bentz has a big dive under brakes in the background. He looks like he's going to charge his way through here on Rick Vigar if he gets a chance. Vigar, for his part, just holds that inside line, and Bentz has to drop him behind, but he's made an error. Bentz comes back out and across. He's looking to go around the outside here, which seems pretty unlikely through these turns. But Vigar really struggling to hold his line here, and Bentz is going to have another bite at the cherry. Jason Bentz wants to get moving. He knows he's got less than 10 laps to recover some sort of points from this second race here in round 9 of the SolarGuard V8 Supercar Championship with Alliance Sim Racing. And Jason Bentz throwing everything at Rick Vigar right now. This is going to be absolutely burning his tyres.
Got to check the kids and the kids and the cats and dogs and the luggage at the back of that car, and just lighten it up a little bit if he wants to get
slide
past.
There for Allman. Which reminds me, I've really got to go back and find that drift from David Coleman in the first race at some point. Don't let me forget that one later, because that was
DC drift. Okay, yeah.
Jason Bentz still all over the back of Rick Vigar now, nothing in it. As he gets the nose in alongside, he's going to really hold this one. A little bit of slight contact there, as both of them just grip up at the wrong moment. And I think, nothing much in that. Good to see them both continue on relatively unharmed. But it will set them just a bit further back from this next battle up the track for 10th, Vargs and Allman. Still going at it, with neither of them conceding any time whatsoever. And with just 8 laps to go, you'd have to think we're getting pretty close to a final standings here. In all of this, while we've been watching these battles in the mid-pack, Wayne Walker has extended his lead over Dean Logsdale to over 10 seconds.
Yeah, he's sitting 24th. The only man sitting 24th basically at the moment for the full lap time. Quickest is 23s.
23.99, which he set on those fresh tyres just a few laps ago. That is insanely fast.
He might want to just back off on this one. No, he's got enough of a gap there. I don't think there's anything that Logger's going to be able to do at the moment. But we'll see how the squabble, essentially for P10, is going to pan out here.
Yeah, this is really the one of the few close battles on track. Everyone else just enjoying a couple of seconds of air both ahead and behind them for the most part. Jamie Dyke a little further back is trying to push on as well. Luke. But Jason Benz,
he's going to power slide out the corner.
That was
there's a drift.
Big moment. We'll go back and take another look at that in just a moment to make sure we get a good view of it, because certainly Jason Benz is absolutely keen to get past here if he can, and continues to try and find a way through Luke Orman. At the moment, not quite finding it, but he's absolutely putting the pressure on. Take a look at this view on the exit here. Look, a big wiggle there from Orman, and then Benz puts the power down the way out, and big slide from him as well. So both of them a bit of a struggle. Now that's an unusual one. A blue flag issue, and also a connection issue just being warned there by race control for Shane Cudby. He's not really featured tonight, has he? He's been well and truly off the back of the pack, and not really loving this track.
Blue flags? I never tell my drivers to pay attention to blue flags. You just no, of course it's important, but especially if there's battles like what you're seeing in your pictures right now. If you're approaching a back marker and they're in your way, it gets frustration from a lot of the drivers, but we don't know. Race control's on top of all that. Thank you very muking for the race control for looking at that one. Unfortunately, I don't think any of these drivers out there, Brad or Tim, are going to get out there and actually lead a lap under the pace car, safety car.
Oh, big moment as well for Benz again. He is absolutely belting those rear tyres every time through that final turn, and at some point, you've got to think it's going to come back and bite him. I'm sure he's got it under control, but 6 laps to go. I'll tell you what, the worst thing he could do right now is overcook the rears and end up dropping down, another 3, 4, 5 places if he does spin that car. And he's at serious risk of doing it if he continues the way he has been.
Well, drivers, my friend, just want track positions. If gap car, basically, that's what they want to do, and they're not happy. Jason's certainly not going to be happy being 11 positions down in this race. He wants more and serve that penalty. And he wants to. To him, he's thinking P10 set. All right, he doesn't want to finish P12. He wants to finish P10, so he's going to do everything he possibly can to get it. And no doubt, that's racing drivers for you, aren't you?
Never satisfied these guys, aren't they? Never satisfied.
And see what happens with Varky and Orman. That's going to be the key up the road. There's the Quantum Pex Racing and the Team AJR are battling it out there for that final top 10 position. Not like Formula 1, but you get paid, you get the big points, or only points finishing in the top 10, but still.
Yeah, that's it.
Finishes, my friend.
G'day, Bike Quote. Anyone got a Discord link for this league? If you email alliancesimracingaustralia@gmail.com, I'm pretty sure that email address is in the YouTube description as well. Drop an email and get in touch.
He just got 2-for-1 special on the exit.
Tell you what, I look away for just a moment to check in on the chat, and Jason Benz goes, "Yeah, thank you very much. I'm on my way, boys."
Wow.
And immediately after, Vargs and Orman looking at going side by side, but the two quantum entries establishing themselves out in front. We'll take another look at that move, because that was an all-timer from Jason Benz as he finally got the traction he's been trying to find through that final turn. It hasn't been there for the last couple, but have a look at this. It goes up the inside of Orman, and even up the inside of Vargs, just all of the grip in the world this time.
I think the teammate would have helped him, yeah, exactly. So there he is.
Great move, and the two quantum cars take off into the distance. Look at the gap that Benz immediately starts to open up. Mick Clifton, though, just quietly chipping away at this behind. He's starting to have a think about maybe joining this battle. Rick Vigar is still right there, and he's come along a fair way as well. So he joins the little trio here of Varga and Orman, with Vigar makes 3. And yeah, look, it's coming close to the end. I don't know that we're going to see a great deal of change in the most of the standings, but these guys have got it all still to fight for the minor placings here.
There's no way of knowing where this race is going. Well, there is actually. Well, I think we are. So we don't need the Candyman or Willy Wonka.
I don't know.
To open up the chocolate factory of
bar here
racing.
tonight. I think it seems like it's right for it. You just reminded me, Biggles, I've got a double dip cherry ripe just sitting in my bag next to me. That is absolutely coming out afterwards to celebrate.
In Queensland heat, I hope it's not being all
the
melted.
aircon's been on all day. I promise you, mate, it's been way too hot to not have it on here today. But I'll tell you what, after getting through a race like this tonight with so much action, I think you and I have earned a little treat for ourselves. It's been a massive season here with ASR. Great support all season from Solagard St. Germain as well. So it's been a real pleasure covering this season. And of course, another round still to go after this before we do wrap it up for this season. And just a quick reminder, if you did miss it earlier on, after this season does conclude next week, we do have a very special charity event in the making. We are looking at Adelaide 400. Cannot wait.
Adelaide comes alive in 1985. Well, it didn't.
They're still in 1985 from what I understand down in Adelaide. But anyhow, the Pink Fins charity is a cancer support group and does amazing work to support cancer sufferers and their families. And this will be the second year in a row that Alliance Sim Racing has put this event on. Last time around it was the Sandown 500. This time around the Adelaide 400 will be on Tuesday night, the 16th of December. Get your entries in, again, via that email address if you're keen. We did raise $718 last time. We'd love to make it to $1,000 this year if we can. Simple Racing Broadcast, for our part, will be donating the broadcast coverage and the commentary to make sure that we can bring it all live and exclusive to you right here on YouTube. It's going to be a great night, so do make sure you mark it in the calendars. We'll be putting up a bit of a scheduled stream probably over the weekend, so check back in and you can just put a little reminder on that stream so that you get notified when it goes live as well. Got to tick that little bell. Absolutely. Yep. Don't want to miss it. Adelaide will be brand new to iRacing at that point. It's we were having this debate earlier, of course. Simon Haynes in the chat letting us know that maybe my maths is a little bit off and it might be released a week prior, but my maths tells me it's going to be released the morning of. In either case, Adelaide is going to be the freshest track on the iRacing service, and we're jumping straight into a 400k race in V8 Supercars. I cannot think of a better way to christen that track here in iRacing.
Yeah, who will deliver the goodies under the Christmas tree for Santa Claus? But at the end of the day, of course, the charity is the one that will get all the goodies from Santa Claus. So make sure you get involved 100%. And donate if you can.
Absolutely.
Of course, the drivers are going to do their best, and of course, you're donating your time as well too for the Simple Racing Broadcasting Network, my friend. So Wayne got that lead to 14 seconds as we're into the dying stage of this race, about 3 to go. That's still the hot zone that you're seeing in your pictures. The big battle still remains, well, essentially now for P10, you'd say.
Yeah, it's continuing on. There's not a lot to
11,
not to separate them. It's really Benz is just too far up the road to even be threatened at the moment. Stephen Varga has been really comfortably maintained that 1 second gap, but he's trying to reel in that second gap rather to Benz and just hasn't been able to so far. At the moment, Vargs is just watching the mirror. Have a look, though, at Jamie Dyke absolutely sending it down the hill here behind Rick Vigar. He knows he's only going to have, a lap and a half to go. These guys on the, Wayne Walker out in front, I should say, onto the penultimate lap now. These guys are on their way to finish that second to last lap, and Jamie Dyke knows he's running out of time. He's going to have to get past. Oh, here he goes. Sends it up the inside. He's going to be late on the brakes alongside Rick Vigar. As they make their way through the left-hander, slides the rear end of the car out, and we'll have to have a chat to the crew about trimming that tree back just a touch for us. In the end, Jamie Dyke making it look easy as he comes back up onto the main straight, now sets his sights forward to Luke Allman and Stephen Varga. Trying to pick up just a couple more spots if he can here. We'll check it out with front runners Wayne Walker, all on his own, 15-second gap. absolutely astonishing. I honestly thought from the performance in race 1 that he was going to struggle here tonight, and that maybe this was just one of those tracks that didn't suit him. And I swear he's just playing silly buggers with me, because this sort of lead we haven't seen from him in a very, very long time. He's just absolutely dominated this second race here tonight at Sachsenring, and it doesn't even look close. There's the white flag. So Wayne Walker starts his final lap. It's going to be 15 seconds and change before this man, Dean Logsdale, crosses the line and takes that same white flag. Just insane. There we go. He comes across the control line now. The white flags are out, so all the drivers know that this is getting to be the end of this race. Jamie Dyke has reeled all the way in Luke Orman ahead. Stephen Varga knows that Dyke's coming as well, so he's going to have to play very, very heavy defence here if he wants to hold on to P11. Jason Bent's still a second up the road. This is where the battle is going to be for this last lap. Don't miss, though, the battle that's forming up here. Damon Fisher's had a horror last lap, 26.69, allowing Ken Latta to get within potentially striking distance on this final lap. So we'll just keep an eye on that. But this one is where it's at right now. Stephen Varga, Luke Orman and Jamie Dyke cross the line to start their final lap. Orman defending the inside from Jamie Dyke. Dyke looking to go over and under here if he can. Nowhere to go, though, between turn 1 and 2 here. Through Coca-Cola Curve they come, and down onto that final lap of Saschenring. It's been
across that line right now too, mate. Only one more corner.
Yeah, there's not much in it, is there? And we go to the finish line, and there's Wayne Walker coming across the line. That's how far in front he is of that battle. He's just crossed the line. Dean Logsdale, 16 seconds back, is not even on the final turn yet. He'll come up the hill now, and will cross the line in second place. And then Mark Poynton, just a little behind, comes across and picks up a podium spot as well in third. We've got a bunch of other cars just coming across. Matt Vanderkruijm picks up fourth, which is great news for his potential to still fight for a podium spot. Damon Fisher and Ken Latta will cross the line in that order still. And then David Coleman is just now getting to this final turn. He's got Joel Oosterwal just behind him, but it does look like he's going to hold him off here. So it'll be Coleman, Oosterwal and Sean Vandermeulen coming across the line. And then here comes Jason Bentz with Stephen Varga right behind him as well. Luke Orman, Jamie Dyke, Rick Vigar. Throw a blanket over the 5 of them there. There's nothing in it. The control line a long way further back. But I tell you what, Dean Logsdale has been doing everything he can to use up the last of those tyres, and it looks like we've just missed it, unfortunately. Todd Martin and Ryan Palmer battling it out now as some of the last drivers yet to complete their final lap, and it looks as though Palmer's going to have the exit that he needs to hold on to this one as they come across the finish line. A fantastic finish to the penultimate round of this season, and really, in the end, a just simply dominating result for Mr. Walker in amongst that. Let's take a look at the results. Wayne Walker finishes with a 16.2 second lead. Absolutely phenomenal. Dean Logsdale, you'd have to think by this point, and we'll certainly take a look at it in just a second, but you'd have to think he's pretty well cemented that podium position, be it second or third. He's put himself in a brilliant position to bring home the championship from that perspective. Mark Poynton in third, ahead of Matt Vanderkruijm in fourth, who also has one extra hand on a podium spot after this second race. Then David Fisher in fifth, ahead of Ken Latta. David Coleman and Joel Oosterwal ahead of Sean Vandermeulen. Jason Bentz finishes up in 10th place ahead of Stephen Varga, his teammate at Quantum Racing, with Luke Orman behind them in 12th. Jamie Dyke and Rick Vigar not far off the back either. Massive race, plenty more to come as well. We will just wait a moment to see if we do have an opportunity to have a chat to the podium in the correct sort of order. But for the moment, I think we might just go to our second place finisher in that race.
Logger.
But our winner from race number 1, and this is Dean Logsdale. Dean, you with us?
How are we going?
Mate, doing well. More importantly, how are you? That was a pretty productive little set of racing for you tonight, wasn't it? Congrats on the win in race 1, and not too bad, backing it up with the second place in race 2.
Yeah, thanks, mate. No, that was a lot of fun. It's a technical track, and yeah, it was just a case. I got lucky, obviously, with the champ going off in turn 1 in the first race, but I definitely thought I'd take advantage of that. And, Matt's been driving well in practice and putting in some great times, and he made a little mistake. Just before you come down, I think it was turn 10. I got the run on him, and yeah, took the opportunity, and then just tried to keep it clean in the first one.
Well, it's certainly paid off. The second race, though, I've got to ask. We were not quite sure what to expect from Wayne after that first race. I mean, obviously he had that minor incident, lap 1, turn 1, but didn't move back through the field as we were probably expecting him to. I'm not quite sure what happened to see him pull out a 16-second lead by the end. From your perspective, just how far were you from the absolute edge of control of that car to be trying to stick with him tonight, or is there just no point in trying to stay with him?
No, well, I think I pitted on my first pit stop on lap 2. I knew there was going to be a bit of argy-bargy up the front and lose a bit of time. So I ducked in the pits early. That sort of paid off because I come out in second behind Wayne after the first one. I come out in the lead, and then he got past me because he came out on fresh tyres. Mine were about 6-7 laps old by that point, and I got nothing for him then. He's that quick that even when you got fresh tyres, it's very difficult to even keep up with him. So I then come in again a bit early, and when he come out a couple of seconds in front of me, and like I say, my tyres were then still 7-10 laps old, and I had nothing for him at all. But I mean, I was just concentrating then on trying to maintain a gap between Mark, because I knew he was coming. He had fresh tyres, and it's just a case of trying to finish second. But Wayne's driving awesome. And, all the guys really, Mark Point and Matt Van der Krant, awesome race by Damon. And I got a bit unlucky as well with some back markers. I think a few of us did.
Well, mate, look, it's still paid off pretty nicely for you. So I can't argue with that. But we are going to move along quickly through these interviews. I'm very aware there's a pretty sizable storm happening outside, and I'm hoping that we can make it to the end of our coverage without it being cut off. So, Dean, before we let you go, anyone you want to say hello to quickly before we do jump on along?
Yeah, definitely all the 9-5 boys. We've had a great week practicing on the track, and we're all going well. So to the whole team, and shout out to my mum and I think my dad, because he's supposed to be racing, so I'm not sure why he wasn't, but they'll be watching, I'm sure. And the missus as well.
Nice one. Always a pleasure to chat to you, Dean. We'll speak soon, hey?
All right, thanks, mate. Bye.
Easy done. Dean Logsdale there, having a great race tonight. We're now joined in the booth by Mr. Mark Poynton. And Mark, it's been a little while since we've had a chance to chat to you. How'd you find the racing tonight?
It was good. Tough little circuit. It's always nice to come somewhere new and race a track you haven't raced about before. But quite enjoyed it. Not a lot of opportunity to have a break around here, but bit hard on the tyres. But other than that, thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about the tyre wear. We were kind of expecting to see that it would be pretty difficult out there, just given how little the supercar tyres do like these extended corners. Did the track conditions make that just perhaps a little bit less of a factor than you're expecting, given how relatively cool the track temps actually were, or was it still a pretty big battle the whole way through?
I found it still a bit of a battle, just a balancing act on the throttle, especially coming through that first section, just constantly balancing the throttle for most of, about half the lap, and then basically the last corner onto the main straight as well. I'm trying to get a good exit out of there. Very easy to light the the back tyres up. So I guess look, I mean, I guess the conditions were favourable for the tyres, but my right foot wasn't.
And that is often the way, let's be honest, in a V8 supercar. So, mate, good to see that you did end up with a decent result despite the challenges tonight. We're going to just keep rolling along here to make sure that we don't get taken out by this storm up here in Brisbane this evening. So, before we let you go, is there anyone you want to say hello to and take that moment while you're in here with us again here for round 9?
Yeah, look, absolutely want to thank you guys for the broadcast and Solar Guard. Without you guys, we don't have a league to race in. And then from our team perspective, Juiced Energy, Racecraft Simulations, Blue Stampede Labour Hire, Tailored Consultancy Services, and Stogport. Big thanks to them.
Lovely work, Mark. Always a pleasure to chat to you, mate. Thanks for dropping by.
Thank you. Cheers, guys.
Mark Wynn takes out the 3rd place in that final race. And the man himself, we've spoken to him so many times, of course, this season. He comes back to the booth once more. Wayne Walker, great to have you back with us.
Yep, thank you. Good to be here.
Mate, not the first race you would have been hoping for, I'm sure, but more than made up for it in the second. Talk to us a little bit about the first race before we come back to this final one. Was it just that difficult of a story from where you ended up back in around about 10th? Was it just that tricky to get the passes done in that sprint race?
Yeah, that stupid mistake into turn 1, a little bit too deep and off into the gravel. But yeah, I was that's all I could get back to. It's
mate, I'll tell you what, it is nice
not
to
the
see
easiest
you.
track to pass on.
It's nice to see you are human from time to time, and that mistakes do happen, because it's not often we see something like that from you. The reason that number 1 is on the side of the car, and certainly race 2. More than made up for it. A 16-second win in the end, just absolutely massive. We haven't seen that sort of performance from you for a little while. Sachsenring, is it one you're familiar with? Is it a new track to you? You just happened to gel well with it in that second race. What was the secret sauce tonight?
No, I've I know the track, but not like from MotoGP, like on PlayStation and that. So I know the layout of the track, but just not with the supercar. But yeah, I sort of got to know the track pretty quick, and yeah, sort of feel had a little bit more pace than most of the other guys. But yeah, just stuff up in that first race made it hard. But then the second race, pitted early, tried to get some clean air, and by the time we had all sort of completed 2 stops, I think I was about 7 or 8 seconds in front of Dean, and yeah, from there
just kept going.
Push as hard as I could till the end.
Well, mate, I have to say, we're going to take a look at the provisional standings in just a moment, but I can't imagine that there's anything anyone's going to be able to do to take this championship away from you now. I assume, of course, that you're still planning on showing up next week to finish out the season at Bathurst. It would seem criminal not to, right?
Yeah, I think I'm pretty sure the last round's not a dropped round, so if
probably should rock up for that then.
Not turn up, yeah. So yeah, I've still got to turn up. There's still, if I had problems,
it's mathematically possible, technically speaking.
Yeah, that's right.
Mate,
still,
look, it's been a mammoth season, but I have no doubt that we'll see you feature in that one as well, I'm sure. We're going to let you get back to it. Before you go, the usual shout out to the sponsors, mate. I haven't quite got them down pat enough to do it for you, so I'll let you lead on.
Okay. Just the league, everyone who helps run it, Race Control, Dean and Mark as well on their podiums. You guys in the broadcast booth, you do an amazing job every week. My team, Accelerate Sim Racing, all their help and support as well. Our sponsors, Abbey Timber, Primal Wheels, Box and Lock Narang, and Modern Deck, and all the other competitors as well. Without them, we don't get the sort of full fields, and that makes it more interesting when you sort of hit and end up back in the field, and then you sort of dicing with them as well. So
Not much fun doing hot laps on your own, is it?
no, it's better if there's the more people, the better.
Absolutely. Well, as always, Wayne, a pleasure to have a chat to you tonight, mate. Congratulations on another very promising result there in race number 2, even if you didn't get quite your after in race number 1. And looking forward to, I am almost certain, chatting to you as the official champion at the end of next week. But Bathurst lies ahead, mate. We'll let you get back to it, hey?
Yep, thank you.
Wayne Walker there takes out the win in race number 2 and really makes it look so easy, Biggles, doesn't he?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's just an outstanding drive and an outstanding championship, really, at the end of the day. For the season, I don't think anybody can touch it now. So brilliant work, my friend Jared.
Let's take a look at the provisional standings after that one. And of course, drop rounds to be considered yet. We'll get a good picture of this at the start of next week. But as it stands, it does look at the moment like Dean Logsdale and Matt Vanderkraan will be battling it out for the podium. Mark Point, though, still very, very close behind 1796. Jason Bentz, unfortunately, not the race that he was hoping for, I'm sure, in the second one there, and that's cost him a few points, but he's still not out of it. I don't think I was kind of expecting, Biggles, that we might by the end of this one be at a point where we could potentially call second place. I don't think we can. I think it's still too close with Logsdale and Vanderkraan. Yeah. I think it's going to come down to Bathurst next week for the second and third step of that podium.
Yeah, absolutely. We're looking forward to that one too, Joe. So, yeah, it ain't over yet.
No, but, absolutely not.
WW has Wayne, for sure. I mean, mathematically, I don't think it's possible, but
look, as long as he shows up next week, he should lock this away.
Yeah.
Now, in saying that, I think it was only last season, maybe the season before, where Matt Vanderkraan came down with COVID for the last race, and that was enough for him to lose the championship. So, stranger things have happened. You can't expect this to be done yet.
No.
Oh well,
not at all, my friend.
Oh well, mate. It's been great having you back in the booth with us again tonight. Thanks so much for jumping on in with me, and a massive thank you to everybody watching out there. We hope that you've enjoyed the coverage tonight. That does bring round 9 of the Alliance Sim Racing Solagard Supercar Championship to a close here at Sachsenring. It's been a very, very interesting track to put some supercars around. I think the drivers have probably loved and hated it in equal measure. Up at the pointy end of the standings, the story continues to tighten. Wayne Walker maintaining that control at the top, but that chasing pack still very much in the fight. If maybe not for top spot, at least for that podium. Logsdale, Vanderkraan, Poynton and Bentz all still well in it. And mathematically speaking, quite a number of other drivers who potentially could find themselves picking up a few extra spots yet. With only one round to go, this run to Bathurst is shaping up to be an absolute thriller. A massive thank you once again, as always, to Solagard St. Gobain for powering Season 6 and supporting the ASR community week after week. And of course, the other sponsors that are on board: Quantum Tint Solutions, AA West Automotive, Nicol Photography, and of course, amazing race control, as always, provided by 24/7 Sim Services. Thanks again to everybody watching along tonight. My name's Jared Cole. In the booth with me tonight, Dean Biggles Hopton. And if you're not with us for the races that are happening between now and then, if you're planning on ignoring us for the rest of the week until we get back to Tuesday, that's okay. We won't hold it against you, because it means we'll see you back here for the big one, the final round at Mount Panorama, the season finale for this season and for this year. Until then, take care and good night. We will see you next time. Goodbye for now.